Okay, today let's take a look at UiPath and see how this stock is doing. Now, it's just been sold off massively since it was listed way back here, 2021, and just a huge sell-off, and now in some kind of a region where price has been consolidating for quite some time. Let's draw in a parallel channel at the bottom here and see what we can make of this kind of price action. And we're probably going to draw it up to the top around these kind of levels. And if we look at this, we can see the sort of range that the stock has been consolidating in for quite some time. Now, this isn't to say you can't theoretically go below these particular levels around $9 or so on UiPath, but we have to imagine that would be quite a strong level of support as it has been in the past. The other thing to note on this chart is it looks like some kind of double bottom has been put in around the $9.5 level. Now, that doesn't mean price can't go below that at some point and retest the bottom of the parallel channel, but typically with these sort of parallel channel patterns, the pattern is you are at the bottom, you head to the top, you head back down to the bottom, and then maybe you even head back up to the top. Now, the fact that we found a double bottom here could be quite a bullish sign if you're just looking at this sort of parallel channel pattern that often plays out. Perhaps the next move won't in fact be all the way to the downside, but in fact to the upside. Now, of course, we have to take a look now at the trend, and the trend is in fact bearish, and quite recently you have flipped into a bearish trend after some positive movement over here. So to me, this looks a little bit concerning, to be honest. You've had a massive sell-off, a massive bearish period here, and every flip into a bullish regime has been rather short-lived and has flipped back into bearish. Now, we can guess as to why that may be. Maybe the stock was massively overpriced at its IPO. Perhaps it is at more risk of a recession, of a collapse in the AI trade compared to other companies, and is therefore being hammered a bit more. But some mixed signals here. So I'm not sure which way I would be favoring. Perhaps there will be a bit more consolidation in these sort of this sort of range, a bit further downward price action, maybe as much as 20% to these previous levels or even below, and just seeing that bearish regime play out a little bit longer before perhaps you then get a more sizable up move, perhaps back to the top of this parallel channel. Now, it's worth noting that we might redraw the parallel channel something like this and say, actually, you know what, this movement out here was sort of a parabolic move, and you broke out of the parallel channel, and you shouldn't necessarily expect that to happen again, and that in fact we have already come to the top of essentially this kind of a parallel channel. Now, I'm not sure if I buy that, but that would be a more bearish argument if you wanted to make the case, okay, well, we've kind of tagged this level, this was an important level in the past, maybe we will in fact head back down to the bottom of the parallel channel, which would be around $9 or so. But either way, a little bit of a mixed signal on this stock. I would personally be a little bit cautious. And if we do take a look at path over the S&P, you can see that it's just been sort of bleeding out here for a very long time, which is not a great look. When a stock looks like this on a relative valuation basis, to me, that's usually a sign that it is a massive underperformer and perhaps will continue to underperform in the long term. If we take a look at on a monthly chart, I mean, look at this chart. This doesn't look like something you necessarily want to be buying if this trend is to continue, and you can just, continue to bleed out. Of course, on a relative valuation chart, you can just keep going down and down and down and down if the performance is, subpar. So keep that in mind. This stock, to me, Path, looks a little bit risky, a little bit dangerous. Of course, low market cap stock, so there's going to be a lot of upside there if it ends up being an outperformer, a stock that, bounces up quite highly. You can have some really big price movements. For example, if you were to get to the top of the parallel channel, that would be a 100% move. Now, I'm not sure you're going to get there. There's no real guarantees, and keep in mind this previous peak was in 2024. So mixed signals on this one. I would be staying out of it myself, and of course the bearish trend that we spoke of may be continuing, but on the bright side, this is a strong parallel channel, and perhaps if you do get back there, or even from these levels, maybe the stock could see some outperformance and heading back up. But regardless, I hope this video was helpful in some way for you. Subscribe as always for more daily videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.